Hello and welcome. Tonight on the show, there's certainly no Stonewall in here. We're going to be getting sweet on you. Tonight we have Stonewall Kitchen, fig and walnut butter, and gingerbread butter. We are so excited to have you. This is Sauce Spoken.
And we're back. We are Sauce Spoken, with a podcast detailing your favorite sauces, dips, and condiments. My name's Adam, and I'll be your host, and I'm joined here this week by my co-host, Tori.
Whoa! Step in line for the Sauce Coaster. My name is TG. I'm Tori, and this is Sauce Spoken, and delighted we are to have you here with us. Spend an hour, and you won't regret it. To my, let's see here, right. It's my right this time. To my right.
This time.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Every time.
He's exploring the inner caverns of everyone's mind, so beware.
Oh.
Our good friend and co-host, E.
It's like Professor E. Yeah.
There you go.
Can't stay out of people's
Eric
minds.
In his lair on the hill.
Eric has gone spunking again. Remember that? I had to look at Eric. Sometimes Eric is so convinced of stuff that I actually look stuff up to double check myself, and I'm always right.
He's gaslighting
I didn't
you.
say spunking. I said splunking.
Splunking, that's right. It is spelunking.
Not yes. It's more like
Spelunking is the correct word.
Oh, well.
It's such a weird. Yeah. I probably have been saying
So
it
is-
wrong my whole life.
So is splunking.
Dude, I don't know. I mean, I think you're sort of splitting hairs, to be quite frank.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Not overruled.
I mean, in the grand scheme, do you bring up is splunking or spelunking a topic that you touch on frequently during the course of a day?
Yeah, I think it comes up fairly often in my life.
Okay, fair enough. All right. I think that
Only you,
fair
Adam.
question.
Not daily.
No, oh, okay.
And now it's time to catch up with the host.
Oh,
It's like, yes, E's here. I'm here this week, and I'm happy to be here. And
I thought you were off
good evening,
spelunking.
listeners. No, wow, just doing
And
my
now it's
own.
time to catch up with the host.
Trying to do my own thing here. Yeah.
And now it's time to catch up with the host.
Time to catch up.
Okay, Adam, how was your week?
Eric?
Want to lead us off? I know. Just throw a monkey wrench in you.
Not even. Well, I did find out what was going on with my shoulder. I know we talked about this last week. I made several discoveries this week that tie into last week's episode, which unfortunately I haven't finished listening to yet as of this recording. Shame on me.
Wow.
Yeah, I was busy today. But number one, I told the listeners and you last week about my shoulder being messed up. I had to go see the doctor for that. And as it turns out, I have like a little bit of extra bone growth on my shoulder from when I fell on the bicycle with you, Eric. And yeah, that's what my doctor thinks it is. Just like basically an overgrown spot. She thinks I probably did break my shoulder. And I just walked it off like a man.
Extra bones.
Didn't get x-ray, and as a result, I've grown adamantium bones.
More bones.
More bones
Marvel
per
references.
bones. And now I have horns on my shoulder like some kind of super villain, you know?
Like Solid Snake.
Well, just one horn, so just a horny shoulder.
I've heard of them actually being able to like break them off sometimes. Like if they're bad enough, they'll actually like purposely go in there and like scrape it.
You can see it on my shoulder.
Yeah.
Like if I take my shirt off, I'm not gonna. I don't know if you can see that bump right there.
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
a little bumpage.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, you can visibly see it. So, and then the other thing I discovered was I was accusing you last week, Eric, of poisoning my food, making me sick and giving me the runs like you had the week before that. And I made an unfortunate discovery, which is that my brand new refrigerator, which is only like 2 months old, apparently stopped working at some point in the past couple weeks. So
That's horrible.
I know it was colder than room temperature, so it didn't immediately throw me off, but it wasn't cold enough to keep my food safe from spoiling, which I think is what the issue was. So,
And like we always say on Sauce Spoken, food safety is real.
yeah,
It is very real.
my. How the turntables after all of my accusations against E about food spoilage and keeping things past their date, and it was me all along that was spoiling my own food. Although, to be fair, I didn't know about it, and Eric is well aware of it, and I still do maintain that is probably a big part of the reason why Eric is sick all the time.
By lack of food safety.
Yeah,
Yes.
Probably things are spoiling.
I think one
All
could
right.
say without a
Yeah.
shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, that's probably possible.
Dude, food
Literally
safety
right
is
before you guys were coming here, I was dumping the last of the almond milk out of my fridge
I
because I,
saw
know it had been there for a long time, and the bottom was just like caked in like congealed, rotten like almond milk.
But
I was like,
you know what's interesting about that? Two things. I've actually accused you before, Eric, and I maintain this, that I'm actually starting to suspect you're not actually lactose intolerant. I think you just got sick so frequently from other reasons that you attributed that to the dairy being the cause. And
you're just effing up your GI system so bad it just reacts bad to everything.
Well, I think it's just like, I'm suspicious that, because it's the same thing like Eric talks about being sick all the times, and it's like how I've been recently with this food spoiling that I was unaware of. And I think now that it's kind of like, I'm willing to bet that just like Eric was eating old bad food and was like, oh, it's the dairy in there that's causing it. Because he gets sick even when he eats things that don't have dairy, too. The other thing I learned the other day was
Certain
that
things,
the other thing I learned the other day was that I actually like oat milk.
Oh, oat milk's very tasty.
Yeah, I think it adds a nice, pleasant, nutty, mild flavor to like a coffee or something. Pretty
Oats.
good.
Oat milk. I'll be darned.
But what about you this week, Eric? Anything fun going on with your week?
Yeah, I've been very busy and productive. Let's see, Monday night I was doing like a little bit of HOA stuff, and then which caused me to be late to game night, which is a tragedy. But I took our favorite game.
Important for you to go to the HOA. A very important, critical thing.
To send out an email before I left. Yeah, my house.
More emails. More
checking emails.
More email controversy.
It's been a long time since we talked about Eric checking his emails.
Email sent out to all the owners of the HOA.
Crank out a couple emails before he left.
Oh man.
And then
because Ronnie was going to be there, he had to crank his emails out before he had to see her.
No, Ronnie did not make it to that game night, but we did play Dice City, which I know we've talked about on the show, so I won't go into length or detail on that. But
it's still good.
It's so good, and I was really glad because it's the first time that Nathan and Frank had gotten the chance to play it, and they enjoyed it immensely. And I think Frank might even be looking to buy his own copy.
Are there expansions for that game?
There are. I actually have 3 of them, and I spent first hour there trying to pull out the expansions.
Why have we never done that? I've never busted that out.
No. You are a Dice City emissary.
Yeah, just about. Every chance I get, I talk it up. I let people know. I mean, it literally is like contending for my top game. It's like that, and Castles of Burgundy, and like, I don't know, what else is really, really great that we just always have such a good time playing.
Carcassonne is probably one of my faves. My personal faves.
Yeah.
It's a good one, but it's not in my personal favorite list.
It's my personal favorite.
Yeah.
Secret Hitler's so good, too.
Dice City's a hit.
Prime Werewolf, like, if you get everyone, like, understands what's going on and is willing to, like, actually participate, that is a primo game.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
I know we had some very fond memories with that one. So
then Tuesday, I had what did I do Tuesday? Tuesday, I took my car in for an oil change, which I've been putting off for way too long. It was like 1,000 miles overdue.
It's first oil change, right?
Yeah, first oil change, 26,000 miles in. That's perfectly okay.
Tori's still waiting on his first oil change.
I got to put the miles on it first.
Yeah. And then, yesterday, I went and had a dentist appointment. So, yeah, I've just had something every...
Dr. Sucky.
Dr. Sakai, yes. More importantly, Hillary... Whoops, well, I shouldn't say her last name. Hillary, my dental hygienist.
Why should you not say her last name?
I guess it's common enough, but like you don't need to be calling people out by their first and last name.
I guess. Right,
we're talking Bones and Hillary.
I guess we'll bleep it. We'll bleep all 8 instances of it there.
Oh.
Tori, are you done with your week, Eric? You only made it to Tuesday.
No, that was Wednesday. Yesterday was Wednesday. Made it to yesterday.
Tori, what about you? What about your week this week?
Oh, well, I finally put the hammer down on Ganon. It's about time. I beat Breath of the Wild.
Oh man!
Once and for all. It's done. Yeah.
So. Do you know how many hours you had on that?
Oh, tough to say. I would probably maybe at least 80, probably pushing 100.
Wow.
Yeah.
So while you're playing Cartoon Core Elden Ring, I was playing God Mode Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. So I gave a 6-year-old game or 5-year-old game a hammering.
Nice.
And it was good. I didn't do well enough to get the good ending. Yeah.
Now, here, I have a question for you on this
Fire
topic.
away.
So we talked about this a long time ago about the weird like weapon breaking system and all the bizarre stuff that went on with that. Do you feel like that balance improved as the game went on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's saying like, oh, you got to get this one bow in the very beginning of the game, but it breaks, so you got to use it sparingly. I did not find that to be a problem at all.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, shortly after it broke, just with normal use, saving it for bosses with that idea in mind. Shortly after it broke, I found something that was as good, if not better.
All right. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah. And that cycle continued. My only bitch, I wish, and there is ways to expand your inventory, but It's not direct. It's not like a real direct thing.
Okay.
You got to meet this character. You got to find these seeds, and you got to meet this plant dude. Who doesn't?
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty wacky. But yeah, and he
was that the Kokiri guy or whatever?
Yeah, Kokorot, or with the seeds.
Yeah, which is interesting because in the previous games, like Ocarina of Time, those were like the fellow elf-looking people that raised Link. That's what like the village he grew up in, I think.
No.
And then in Breath of the Wild, they're like these little tree people.
Yeah, they got like leaves for faces.
Yeah, they don't look at all like Link.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think in this game, it should have been very obvious to Link that he was not one of them, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really much running with them, outside of some short dialogue. But yeah, that was my only real gripe. And I don't know, spoiler alert for a 6-year-old game. I thought the ending, I got sucked. I didn't get the good ending. I didn't play well enough to get the upgraded ending.
What do you mean play good? Like you didn't collect enough shit or what?
Yeah, I think it's the memories. You have to go back and collect memories throughout the world. If you're in certain places, it jogs. Storyline wise, it jogs a memory, and then it flashes to a cutscene where it shows, 150 years ago when everything wasn't overgrown and there was actually like a population, and people that actually... now it's 100 years later, everything's just sort of ratty, everything's dirty and old and overgrown and shit like that. So it's a pretty neat mechanic, but I didn't collect all these memories, so therefore I got the ending that was maybe 45 seconds long. Total underwhelming.
Gotta play it again?
Would you play it again to try?
I would never. No. I would not play it again. The option, I could go through the memories now because I still have the game saved prior to the big bad. So I could leave the big bad area, do the memories, come back, whoop his ass again, and then get the good ending. But I'm looking at it for the time I already invested. That's a YouTube job, dude.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Fire it up on the tube. I mean, I played the shit out of it. I enjoyed it. I think I got my money's worth out of a 6-year-old used game. So
used? You bought that used too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I've almost never gone back and played a game with multiple endings. Like you said, I'll just watch them on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Elden Ring. Am I going to go play Elden Ring 6 more times to get all the endings? Because the thing is, the endings are not that different in Elden Ring. They're only like you said, 30 seconds long, and they're kind of anticlimactic and not super entertaining anyways, because that's not really the point of the game.
Yeah.
I'm certainly not going to go back and play it, make it even harder on myself to get a different ending. So.
Mm-hmm.
But world exploring is part of both these games, right? I mean, you want to clear the map, you want to see all the different areas, essentially.
As much
if you're so inclined, yeah.
Yeah, as much as...
I mean... And the game does at least the storyline in Breath of the Wild does a pretty good job of navigating you around the world to do those things. So by the time the main storyline's done, you didn't see everything, but you've probably seen enough cool shit to be satisfied.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Elden Ring kind of does that by forcing you to explore so you can be properly leveled to face your enemies, So yeah, I am certain that there are oodles of areas I missed in Elden Ring, but I think I got the bulk of the experience definitely. So,
neat.
But
yeah, I'm on a new one now. It's Surviving the Aftermath. And it is a city builder on post-apocalyptic style.
Okay,
and I like it.
Pretty cool.
Playing the shit out of it. So far, so good.
Well, speaking of
exploring different sauces.
Ooh, wow. Yeah, E, we need your go-go gadget stretch arms here. Stretch away.
Yeah, that's nothing's going to be a stretch, but I guess to put it shortly, Eric, you brought the sauces for us this week.
I did.
Would you like to lead us off with what we're going to be looking at this week?
After my dentist appointment, I went to Giant Eagle, and I wandered around and around and around and around for a good hour trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Had multiple things I wanted to consider, and then I stumbled upon a little end cap in the store that had Stonewall kitchen products. They're a food company, and they make a lot of different types of sauces.
They're a food company.
They're not a paid company.
I think
they are, in fact, a food company.
I'm not entirely sure, actually, now. I think they might do actual, foods as well as sauces and condiments. But
we'll find out later.
Yeah, we'll find out, because I didn't do that much research. I actually stumbled upon them during Season 1, doing research on sauces, so over a year ago. Came across their stuff on Amazon, and I started liking and putting them into a wish list of sauces. And so I was there at the store, and I just looked at it and said, the price is basically the same as what Amazon was. So.
Why do you think that you breathe in the middle of your sentences, Eric? Why do you think that is? Do you ever notice that most people don't get halfway through a sentence and then breathe and then continue?
Poor
That's just
lung
something I've
management.
wondered. I
I
don't
don't
even
know.
think that's what it, like, you can't have that poor of lungs. Like, I think you could hold your breath long enough. I don't understand. You like make a point where you're like talking
And then breathe.
and then you can continue finishing your sentence. And I just don't understand why you do that.
Pause for dramatic effect when there is no dramatic effect at all.
Add it to the master list of.
Are you like thinking of how you're going to finish your sentence?
Sometimes.
Is this like a Michael Scott thing where it's like sometimes I start a sentence and even I don't know where it's going to end up? You know?
Most times I start a sentence, I have no idea where it's going. Yeah, so
Speaking of where we're going,
yeah, where
tell
we're
us
going.
what sauces we're tasting.
So I picked up for us a fig and walnut butter and a gingerbread butter. So keeping in line with all things buttery and spreadable that we've been doing.
Well done.
We do like to get stuck in ruts against my intents, yes.
Yes, we did.
Like, oh, okay, Adam decided this. Let's all do the same thing like that for the next month and a half. I told you I'd find a way to complain about this, Harry.
Oh, yes, we did.
It took me a minute when I got here. I knew there was something I could complain about when I saw these sauces. I didn't have it figured out right off the bat, but I
I gave
figured
you
it
an
out.
assist. I
I
practically
know,
told
you
you
did.
that.
I figured it out now, though, so I'm going to lock in on that.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah.
well, let's do a little visual description of the outside of the containers that we're looking at tonight, then. And I think let me take the gingerbread one. Tori, you can take the fig one, unless you feel strongly that you want the other one.
I know. I don't feel strongly either which way, my man.
I felt more strongly.
Okay.
I'll go first.
Okay.
So it's a squat little container. It's 12.5 ounces, but it is almost perfectly like if it was in a vehicle's engine, they would call it square. Its stroke is very similar to its bore, as it were.
Oh boy.
That's one for Big A. He'd like that.
That's one for the gearheads.
It's very square. Yeah, it is for normal people, its width is approximately the same as its height, I guess, if you want to put it that way,
Yeah.
except for the little lid sticking out on top, which is a green metal lid in a charming deep hunter green color. In the front of it is a cute little tan label that covers about a third of it. It's a one contiguous label except for one little piece on the right there. It's broken there, but it's interesting because it's in a bigger square that's linked to smaller brown squares, and then on the back is hooked to another bigger square, and it's kind of an interesting little design. I don't think we've seen any that are quite like that.
It's like a belt and a belt buckle.
It is if you had a belt buckle in the back, too.
I suppose you're right.
Yeah, it's like a belt with like two buckles on it. But mine on the front.
You don't have a belt buckle on your butt?
My butt buckle, as it were. Keep things closed back there.
Ooh.
But on the front it says Stonewall Kitchen, creators of specialty foods, gingerbread butter in like a pseudo handwritten font, gluten-free, nice to know. Oh, in 1991 we set up a small table at the local farmer's market displaying the few dozen items we had finished. 1991, another thing at this podcast hails from that time period. And on the left it says, I'm 30 years old. I'm 30 years old. That's what I was trying to say.
We get it.
Jesus Christ. Our smooth and light, non-dairy, Eric, gingerbread butter is made with a delectable combination of flavorful spices and ingredients, including 3 kinds of ginger. Try in breakfast recipes, spread it on muffins, enjoy it in a special dessert. You will love it. I want to say one thing. I don't like the word flavorful.
Why?
It makes me angry.
What?
I have a story about
word
this.
flavorful.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's the same thing as like we had
Another axe to grind.
We had a food truck at work this week, and it was not the greatest food truck. I'm not going to call them out by name because I don't want to like damage their reputation, but it was an Italian food truck, and the prices I thought were pretty steep to begin with. Like you're charging like $15 for spaghetti and meatballs, in like a takeout container, and it's like,
wow.
Yeah, that's
there's
steep.
13 cents of spaghetti in there, a 10-cent squirt a shot sauce, and 2 meatballs, which, I mean, the whole thing probably cost them $1.50 to produce, if that. And they're charging a 10 times markup on that, And I know some other people got some raw chicken sandwiches.
Ooh.
Chicken sashimi, if you would.
Oh, my.
And
That's not right.
No, it's not right at all. So there were some problems with that to begin with, but then the other thing that drives me crazy is that they used some abbreviations on their menu, one of which was calling it G-bread, which I have referred to sometimes. I think is kind of funny if you're just talking about it, but I don't think it's very professional to put it on a menu. And the other thing was they called their sandwiches Sammy's, which infuriates me. I can't stand the word Sammy's because it makes all
Keep going. I love it.
Think of is like, oh, the widow Sammy Whammy. You want some cheesy wheezy with a widow meaty bow on it? Ooh, a widow Sammy Whammy for my widow boy. You know?
Wow.
And I feel the same way about flavorful. God damn it! Like to me,
wow. That's not in the same ballpark for me.
It's in the same ballpark for me. Like I don't like the word flavorful. Like I think you said say a delectable combination of flavor, you know, or you could say tasty I'm okay with, or any other thing. I just don't like flavorful. Like I'm okay with flavor, not flavorful. It just sounds like a made up stupid word. I don't like it. Makes me angry.
Okay.
But that's all we got going on for this jar. Other than that, there's some weird little proof marks at the bottom, and a nice little pleasant ridged thing, a little double ridged at the bottom, which is kind of cool to feel. It's a nice tactile sensation.
Ooh.
But yeah.
Check the bottom of the jar. You are thorough, Adam.
I like it. I picked it up, and it's kind of pleasing. I learned another fun fact the other day. Remember we were talking about the gluten-free, the horseradish sauces were like gluten-free, and also that parave word or whatever. Do you remember that?
Yes.
That you didn't put in the show notes, Eric. That was something I brought up that we were going to check on. But it's apparently like a part of like kosher processing, because I guess like in kosher food, you can't eat milk and meat at the same time. Like they're not supposed to mix, like even in your stomach. I don't quite understand why. It's one of those weird things. But you know, all that biblical stuff, like all those rules they came up with was because there was essentially the thing like a modern day E. coli outbreak, and it'd be like if we wrote a Bible now, it would say, do not eat romaine lettuce, and 2,000 years from now, people would be going like, God doesn't want you to eat romaine lettuce, and it's like, no, it's just because there's an E. coli outbreak, you know, that's why you're not supposed to eat it. But there's a lot of weird rules like that get implemented, and I'm sure that the milk and meat was one of them, but I guess that's a part of like kosher preparation, is that was to indicate that like a parave food, and I'm sure I'm not saying that right. The idea is that contains neither milk nor dairy, so you can eat it with either one.
Oh, interesting. All right.
So, yeah, I learned that little tidbit the other day. I had to know.
Okay.
Missed it on my re-listen. I didn't even hear it.
Why don't you hit us with the sauce you're looking at there today, Tori?
Okay. Yeah, the jar, I think, is identical. It's the absolute identical jar, even with that tactile ridge sensation you mentioned on the bottom. That's even
Isn't it pleasant?
Yeah, it's very nice. Yeah, it's very nice. The label is in the exact same shape. Also, it looks like if someone were to wear a belt buckle in front and in back, it'd be different, you know, twist it up a little bit. But for those who don't know, this is fig and walnut butter. And I'm not sure if butter, well, I'm sure we'll get into that. But the label is, I don't know, I'm trying to think of the Bear paint color at the Home Depot. Help me out here with this color. I'm not the color man, but it's not a white. It's certainly an off-white.
Roman plaster.
We are certainly moving towards a yellowish, if I do say so. The color scheme on mine is a little bit different than Adam's. His is like a pumpkin-y orange, where mine is a nice plum, a nice purple. Just about darn the same. This is Stonewall Kitchen, creator of specialty foods. Fig and walnut butter in that sort of handwritten in a hurry type script there. It says company classic right there, of course. It's gluten-free, non-GMO. This has what appears to be a little insignia. This has won the award for outstanding butter or topping. It doesn't make mention of the association or the year in which it was given, which is a terrible shame. But as we spin the bottle and our eyes will take a look, we come across another little purple patch and has a little blurb, and it says, figs and walnuts have long been a classic combination, served with cheese, believe that or not, in the Tuscan countryside. We love the combination and created this award-winning spread to serve as a complement to any cheese plate, breakfast bread, or pork roast. So there you go. We can draw some inspiration from there. There's also a mentioning of 1991. I think it's the same story.
Yeah.
On the other side of that label. And there you go. We got a barcode. Nothing too crazy there. The ingredients, which I didn't peek.
Good.
And the nutrition facts. So there you go. Stonewall Kitchen, fig and walnut butter.
Cool. Well, with that being said, let's move on to the inside of the jars now. I passed my gingerbread butter off to Eric so he can do a little description on that. And Tori, you can stick with that fig. But let's move on to the inside of the container, the sauce we're looking at today. You want to give us a little visual description of that there, Eric?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So, just like you had said there about the label being like a real tan, brown, kind of bright. So, and then the sauce inside it is, I'd say a few shades darker than that. It's, looks like a squash that has been mixed heavily with brown sugar.
Okay.
So it creates that like dark molassy, but also has that like bright and yellow,
sweet, sassy molassy.
Yeah,
molassy. It's got that molassy.
It has like a molasses, mixed into it, so that way it darkens.
Did you describe it as flavorful?
No, I will not describe it as flavorful.
That would be your ticket to piss him off, though.
Yeah, it would.
He doesn't need a ticket. He's got a lifetime pass.
A lifetime fast pass.
It clings really well to the jar itself. When I opened up the initial lid, popped the lid and flipped it over, it was clinging quite well to the top of the lid. It almost looked like caramel because it had such thickness to it. But
it looks exactly like caramel, 100%.
Well, but then if you give the actual jar a shake, it moves much more fluidly. So it's not the caramel consistency that you would expect from caramel. Having it on my plate, it has a translucency when it spreads out. You can see right through it. Light can pass through probably a good 16th of an inch or so before it starts getting a little too opaque to see through, I'd say. But
on this very nice flatware, by the way, it's probably worth mentioning. I know we brought it up in the past.
There are flecks in it.
Very tiny.
There
are
very tiny. Some tiny bit of spices in there. You're
I'm assuming it's like a nutmeg or something, or an allspice,
Right, yeah, not totally homogenized. I guess I should hold the plate up here. And so, yeah, kind of like...
do your divination in it. Do some scrying into the plate, Eric.
Right. And I would say it's very similar to apple butter. Consistency-wise, translucency-wise.
It looks like barbecue sauce to me.
Really? Oh,
yeah, looking at it on my plate, like both of these, I'm stealing Tori's thunder here a little bit, but both of these look like different barbecue sauces on my plate once I've smeared them around enough.
I can see that. They don't taste like barbecue sauces, that's for sure.
No.
Not at all. Why don't you go ahead and give us a little visual description of yours there, Tor?
Yeah, so mine is real dark. As it's on my plate here, and I'm going to get in nice and tight so I can see.
What does yours call you? Walnut and fig?
I think it's fig and walnut. Okay. Yeah, in that order, right? It's fig and walnut butter. So it is just dark as heck. It's certainly it looks like a super, super deep purple as you thin it out, as you get to that magic maybe 1/16 of an inch.
It's a deep purple song for the listeners, you piece of shit.
Oh, we definitely do.
Yeah, so they call it a butter, and I'm not sure if a butter is an adequate description for this type of thing, because I think it would fit very nicely in the jam category because it looks like a darn jam.
Well, you know the difference between butter and jam.
Oh, my goodness.
Actually, I don't have a thing for butter and jam, so...
I'm sure you could cook something up.
I'd say something disgusting, so...
Yeah, so I'm not sure if it falls into the butter category because it's very jam-like as it's here, as it was certainly spread out on the croissant. You could have told me that was fig jelly, if you wish, and I certainly wouldn't have known the difference.
Really, because I think of jellies as being much more like pureed. This is got some hefty chunks in it.
It does have hefty chunks. Well, also the walnut. Well, go ahead. I'm stealing your thunder.
Yeah, I mean, the chunks of the nut is certainly prevalent. You get that, and there appears to be some seeds, which I can only imagine would be fig seeds.
Presumably,
I guess.
Are they stuck in your teeth? Were they stuck in Eric's tight teeth?
Oh, I've been chewing on them this whole time.
Oh, he's been chewing on them for 15 minutes now. He loves chewing on seeds.
I hate it so much.
Eric the bird, as he is known. What did you say? A strawberry can keep you busy for 20 minutes or something like that?
Sometimes.
A single strawberry.
Sometimes longer.
You pick off all the seeds off the strawberry. You scrape them off with a knife into a little pile. You throw the strawberry away. You lick the seeds up one by one and chew them to death. That's how you stay regular.
Strawberry seed oil.
Yeah, I like strawberry flavored things, but I hate strawberries because of those damn seeds. And yeah, this sauce is, or this jelly, jam, butter, whatever you want to call it, is extremely seedy.
Yeah, got a lot of seeds in it.
I like it. I like a seed.
I don't mind them. They just get stuck in my damn teeth. And that makes me mad. My tooth. My one tooth.
That's always just floating around in there.
Yeah, he just sort of jingles.
Switching places willy-nilly.
Does what he wants. But yeah, so there you have it. It almost looks, it has some red tones, looks purpley. Yeah, I mean, that's how a fig looks, at least. The only thing I can really compare to is a fig Newton, which I don't care for.
Yeah, it does look exactly like Fig Newtons, like the filling.
Yeah, but as far as that tone and complexion is concerned, that looks like a Fig Newton. Not quite black, not quite brown, maybe not quite purple. Maybe a mix of the three.
It's weird because it looks really purple in the jar, but on the plate it looks much more like dark, like I said, like a dark barbecue sauce brown almost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's almost tar-like, really. The way it sticks in the how like gelatinous it is. I don't know. Like
it don't move. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think it passes the blizzard test quite possibly.
I didn't try
Let's
it.
try it over your head.
I didn't try the blizzard test, actually. I do think it bears mentioning that we tried this on. You were kind enough to go get us some croissants from John Eagle, Eric.
I did. Well, yeah, what led me to that was I did read the gingerbread butter side there where it said try on a muffin or breakfast foods. So I was going to go try and find some like plain, everyday run-of-the-mill muffins without going to like Little Debbie's muffins. So I was over in the bakery section and everything was like caramel and chocolate. And I'm like, no, and banana. I'm like, I don't want contrasting flavors. And so then I stumbled upon everyday little mini croissants. I thought, oh, that seems neutral enough to be good for tasting.
You nailed it.
Well, yeah, I think that was the right choice. I have some thoughts on this later, but I think you did really good, especially going into this blind. And we haven't had croissants on the show yet. Those were solid.
Nice articles, E.
I didn't know you guys were such croissant fans.
Love a croissant.
I am a croissantasseur, as they say.
Nice.
Yeah, without any further ado, let's get into the initial tasting notes. Let's start off with the, which one did you guys trace for? I tried the gingerbread first.
I think
you guys
I did
remember?
Too.
I did the fig first.
Let's start off with the gingerbread. Seems like 2 out of 3 on there. I'll go... Yeah, fuck you, Tori. Be very clear about this. Fuck you. Yeah, I think that the gingerbread one is interesting. I will say it has a sweet base. To me, it kind of tastes like... almost like a caramel... like a pureed caramel apple. Like, I definitely get like some caramely notes. Eric, I know you definitely pointed out that there's definitely like an apple taste in there, and that is definitely spot on. It kind of tastes almost a little bit like a cinnamon applesauce, too.
Yep.
But it's got a lot more spice than that. And obviously, it's, considerably thinner, and like I said, it looks more like a caramel, It is definitely really heavily forefront on the spice. You definitely get the ginger. They weren't lying on that. I do think that there's probably some cinnamon, some nutmeg, some allspice, things like that in it, your traditional spice tastes. I don't know that it quite tastes like gingerbread. It's kind of more like a mulled, like spiced apple cider or something like that, I think is probably a more apt term for it. But it definitely has a lot of similar spices as gingerbread. But yeah, other than that, it's sweet. Like I said, it's a little bit spicy without something to kind of like tone it down, like a creamy thing, like maybe a cream cheese. Yeah, I thought it was quite good. What about you, Eric?
You know what? As I was just here listening to you describe it again and tasting a little bit off of my plate here, it dawned on me. There's actually 2 things, but they both contain another fruit we haven't said yet is pumpkin.
Really?
There's a pumpkin soup that had like a ginger kind of like spicy kind of notes to it. It was really good. This is like a sweeter, spicier version of that. And then also just pumpkin pie, straight up pumpkin pie. This is like, you take pumpkin pie and apple pie and you somehow blended them together. Kind of like, that's kind of that spicy notes of like a cinnamony apple pie and a real cinnamon nutmeg. I don't know, whether you do taste ginger.
You're not wrong. I think that like a lot of pumpkin pies are made a lot blander than that. Like some people really load the spice up heavy, which goes better with the whipped cream.
Yes.
I don't think most people's pumpkin pies are like that, though.
I like a good spicy pumpkin pie. So,
yeah, I can go with that.
Yeah, you nailed it, Adam, pretty much on all the other descriptions and notes there. You said apple, caramel, sweetness, spice. I thought it was really interesting when you read the side of the container. You said that there was actually 3 different types of ginger in it.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know there were different types of ginger.
I don't either. Yeah, I don't know that we're going to find out any more information on that, but that is an interesting tidbit they threw in.
That was. So, but I do taste ginger. And I got a quick soft-spoken rewind. I don't know if we got time for it real quick.
Soft-spoken rewind.
Soft-spoken
Real quick.
I went ahead and tried that horseradish cream sauce on some, actually when I was at Giant Eagle, I bought some Philadelphia cream the
Philly rolls.
Yeah, Philly rolls. Thank you. I'm struggling there. It's the sushi.
The Philly John Eagle.
I tried the crime sauce.
Crime scene?
sauce.
I tried the crime scene sauce. It's made of chalk.
On top of those Philadelphia rolls, and it blended well with the cream cheese, just like I thought it would. It's still got to be my least favorite sushi roll. Not good in general, but it did work the way I thought it would.
I had to throw the
cheese because I think someone mentioned cheese or something. Something sparked my memory of that.
Okay, I did say cream cheese on this.
Yeah,
it was unfortunate that deli sauce I had to throw out because of my refrigerator.
That is such a tragedy.
I know. I was like, but I got to do it. I know you wouldn't have done it, but I had to do it. So
yeah, I wouldn't have done that. I'd have ate it for years and been sick.
It might have
occasionally every week. No idea why.
It might have. Yeah, exactly. What about you, Tori? What did you think about this gingerman one?
I thought the gingerbread tasted like a cozy, rainy afternoon in November.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
how poetic.
Yeah, boy. If you were to personify that into a moment, that would be it for me, because it was just, I don't know. I mean, it was cozy. It just tasted cozy to me. And that may be hard to grasp, but yeah, I mean, and maybe that's a function of having that pumpkin pie and, the apple and having those fall flavors and all that. Boy, that was just an incredibly cozy little treat there, because I didn't really think I was going to care for it that much, because gingerbread cookies are like, okay, they're not my favorite cookies. I'm a sweet treat savage. So I will never turn down a cookie, but I think about a gingerbread, but I'd eventually say yes. So yeah, I mean, it was all those things. I mean, it was all those things that I personally would tie to, shortly after Halloween. Thanksgiving's on its way. We have all those good smells, and just being home and cozy, and boy, yeah, nice. So that's what I got out of it. I was going to take a more poetic approach, because I think you guys nailed the flavor profile.
That's fair.
To a T.
Well, you nailed the imagery to a T. I mean, absolutely. Yeah. The smell, the taste, it brings you right into fall. It really does.
It's there, man.
And last thing, I thought, even, I don't know if we're maybe out of sequence here. I think it would be good on maybe even a chicken breast, cooked chicken breast. I think this could be really interesting on.
Oh, wow.
And I also think, because it has such savory notes to it.
Excuse
I also think it would be good on a sweet potato or like another squash.
Chicken breast?
Yeah, I think you could smear this right on top of a chicken breast and it would be good.
That's illegal.
I'm calling the police right now.
Yeah, I'm calling the police. Now, I'm with you on a sweet potato. I don't like sweet potatoes, but you're right.
Yeah, that'd be the bomb on sweet potato.
You're a fucking sociopath for suggesting it on chicken. That is insane. Is insane.
You'll like my next comment for the walnut fig then.
I can't wait for next week's rewind. So I put the gingerbread stuff on chicken.
It was fucking terrible, but I still ate it. Let's move on to the fig and walnut. And as far as this for me, I found this one to be more eatable. Not that the other one was bad, but like if you want to put a big slathering of this on a croissant, I think this one's a little bit, the other one's kind of like extremely spicy and quite sweet. This one's got a little bit more body to it that I think pairs better with like the delicate, tender chomp you get out of the croissants, because it's got kind of its own texture stuff going on there, and it's got a really good blend of textures. I would actually say that the appeal to this is probably more in texture than it is in flavor. It tastes like a fig Newton, and I'm sure that is primarily from the fig.
I'm disagreeing with you hard.
Really?
Fig Newtons are gross. This is good.
I like fig Newtons, and I think this tastes exactly like the filling from a fig Newton. And
dude, no way.
The thing is, you get the little, and I love the fig seeds, because to me they're like a very it's almost like eating a piece of sand, but it's made to be eaten. It's got that tiny little crunch, and it tastes like you're eating little pieces of rocks or something.
Man, I can't tell you how many times I was at the beach and I thought I could just eat a handful of sand.
This is it, yeah.
This is my opportunity.
But you've surely gotten sand in your mouth before. Of
course, yeah.
It's absolute hell.
Yeah, and it like hurts your teeth because it like crunches, But this is actually like you can eat it and it crunches and it works. Best of the best.
He loves it.
So you get the little bit of texture from that. It's got a nice thick body to it, but it's also got some bigger like chunks you can chew on of the figs. And then it's got some really big chunks that are like a softer chunk of the walnut. And it's just like a very interesting juxtaposition of textures. The walnuts aren't adding a whole lot flavor-wise. And like I said, I think this is more of a texture food. And I do think it is meant to go on something that is delicate like a croissant. So you can really get the full array of those textures in one bite. And other than that, yeah, it's got a milder sweetness, which, like I said, I found more pleasant on something like this, so it's not overly sweet. But yeah, other than that, the thought was pretty good. Nothing, nothing. The only other like flavor thing that came to mind is it definitely has like a molasses note to it. I don't know if that's because of the figs or not, but that was the only other like major thing that stood out to me. So, what about you, Eric?
Well, I think I agree with Tori when he says he disagrees with you about being like Fig Newton.
Really?
Yes. I think Fig Newtons have like, when I said tar earlier, like truly Fig Newton has like a gel version of fig that is so compact and almost dried out and gross. Oh, it's so gross.
Fig Newtons are gross.
Yeah. Yeah, I will eat a Fig Newton, but it's way down on my list of things that I would like to do.
Yummy, yummy, yummy.
You're like 80 years old out here eating Fig Newtons.
Let me take my teeth out and gum some Fig Newtons to death. They're good for your bowels, damn it.
That's right. Keep you regular.
All that little sandy seeds.
Insoluble fiber. We're going to hit on that again.
Yep.
But it's so I think it's brighter and like and sweeter and has that like a little bit of runniness to it. It's more of definitely like a jelly. I actually think it's made make a very elevated and very expensive peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I think if you used a creamy peanut butter and then you were to spread this on the other half of that bread, this walnut and fig, slap that together, it would be a peanut butter and jelly sandwich worthy of being served at a restaurant, and someone would go, "Oh wow, what is this? Why is this so good?"
I would approve of that statement.
Yeah, I think that blows the balls off of your chicken gingerbread
idea.
That's fucking insane, Eric.
But I think you nailed something there. I think you're on to...
I'm not even going to have you do recipes with that because I don't want to go any further down that rabbit hole. That's insane.
Now, the other thing that's insane, that my other insane choice for this is I think this would also be really good on a pork chop. I think a little bit of this on a pork chop.
Well, don't they say that on the side? Like that?
I don't know.
Oh, they did say pork dish on the side.
Yeah, I thought they said pork dish. Like
he's out here thinking he's clever.
I don't listen when it's really.
Yeah, fruit stuff like this I think will be fine. This gingerbread sauce
be perfect on a chicken breast.
Batshit insane on a chicken.
How
How can you say that, Eric? That is the vilest thing I've ever heard of my entire life.
Now I'm going to have to do it just to prove you wrong. I'm sure it's
along the same lines as the cough syrup chicken we've talked about before, the Allegra chicken.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, dear.
I can't believe you think this would be good on chicken. That is so...
All right, Tori.
All right, yeah.
Save the podcast. We're ready.
Save, oh boy. Well, I thought it was a little grapey. I'm sure that's a function of it being a dried fruit, naturally sort of raisiny, grapey. But yeah, of course, that's a function of the figs. I never really had much exposure to figs outside of the aforementioned grody, absolutely disgusting Fig Newtons.
Delicious Newtons.
Which I never cared for. So this was a very pleasant surprise because I didn't know really what it was coming into it when I seen fig and walnut butter. I thought, oh, great. He got one of this goofball shit that he loves, and it's going to be weird as hell. But
he did, and it is, but...
he knocked it out of the park.
I purposely did not put it on the calendar because I didn't want you having any kind of preconceptions coming into it.
Good, you nailed it. Yeah, and I diggity darn liked it.
It definitely wasn't just through laziness that he didn't put it on the calendar. It was definitely intentional.
Premeditated,
of course, premeditated. I know we've been talking about some combinations with these, some questionable, some not. Allow me to rap at you one time. How about you throw some fig and walnut butter on some French toast? I'm going to drop the mic because that may be fire.
Yeah,
I can see it.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
Fair.
You get some butter, you get some of that. Ooh, boy, that would be good.
Ooh.
But yeah, so he thought he was slick with the pork comment. I agree with him. Regardless of whether that was intentional or you being a joker or not, I agree with you. I think this could definitely find a home on a savory pork dish, maybe grilled. That would be really nice. Maybe with a little asparagus, not on the side, but just to cut that sweetness, maybe. And boy, that would be a real treat. Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised with the fig and walnut butter. I'm sticking to my guns. I don't think it's a butter. I think that was incorrectly named. Damn good, despite that.
It's kind of like the monkey butter, which we tried recently. Again, I don't know if I'm fully on board with calling them butters, but hey, whatever. If butter just means thing that you put on something, then
that you spread, yeah, right. If it's spreadable in any fashion, it's a butter.
My thoughts on these, And I had a couple of them. With the gingerbread one, I thought that would be really cool if you took that sauce and made like cinnamon rolls out of it, like as a layer in between, when you rolled them up. The other thing I thought that would be really good was if you like put some into a muffin and baked it like that.
Yeah, actually use it as like a recipe, like an ingredient to make a baked good. I could see that for sure. Or cookies even, like a ginger snap cookie kind of recipe and add a little bit of sun to it.
Now, the fig and walnut, I think would be amazing as one of those like sugar encrusted like turnover things, like instead of a cherry turnover, you have a fig and walnut turnover. I think that would be like hella good.
Yeah, that would be money.
Those are my thoughts on those. The kind of like pastries you might want to whip up with these things.
Man,
you're literally making me hungry.
Yeah, really. I'm visualizing this. And
the other thing would be just like if you fired up a pot, boiled yourself a nice dry ass chicken breast.
Ooh, yeah.
And just like injected some of the gingerbread sauce into it.
It'll wow you.
They would call that shit chicken cordon ew.
Slap some chicken on it.
Yikes. All right. Well, it's time for Eric's favorite segment of the show, the ingredients.
All right. I'll start off with the gingerbread butter. So this has sweet potatoes. Number one ingredient.
What? Really?
It is. Sweet potato.
Wow.
There's really sweet potato in that.
That's it has to be what gives it the body.
I don't like sweet potato. That is, my mind is blown.
Huh. That I'm blown. I mean,
I don't like
once
sweet
they say
potato.
it, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. That's neat.
I see it. I don't like sweet potato. This is blowing my mind. But your comment about it being good on a sweet potato now is like prescient.
Of course,
yeah,
right.
It's sweet potato on sweet potato-ception.
Squared, yeah.
Followed by brown sugar, pure cane sugar,
all right,
molasses, water, candied ginger, which is ginger and sugar.
Yeah.
Ginger puree, which is ginger and citric acid.
All right.
Maybe this is how they come up with their different versions
Those
of
aren't
ginger.
different kinds of ginger. Those are all ginger. There's already sugar in this.
Right. Modified cornstarch, citric acid, spices, vanilla extract.
Where's the third ginger?
It doesn't say. Cane.
Liars!
What?
Vanilla extract contains cane alcohol, water, sugar, vanilla, and bean extract.
Beans?
Extractives. Vanilla bean extractives.
Yeah, okay, vanilla bean extractives.
There we go.
Not baked beans.
Kidney beans.
I saw a comma there when there wasn't one.
Beans?
All right. Contains corn.
Wait, so is there no other like...
Oddly enough.
There's no other like cinnamon or nutmeg or allspice or anything? This is all ginger?
They just said spices. I'm sure there's...
Oh, okay.
I'm sure there's...
All right. That tracks.
Yeah.
Spice blend.
Wow. Sweet potatoes.
So there's no apple in there at all.
It must be the sweet potato we were tasting.
Yeah,
that in combination with the ginger.
How crazy is that?
That's crazy.
Huh.
Hit us with the fig and walnut now.
All right. The first ingredient is sweet potatoes. No.
Oh, no. I was going to hit you. There's no way.
First ingredient is pure cane sugar, followed by fig paste, which is...
That's what's in Fig Newtons.
Right, which
That
is
makes
fig
sense.
paste and fig concentrate, whatever the heck that is. Concentrate. Ooh. Anyways, water, dried figs,
It's
walnuts,
just loaded with figs.
orange juice concentrate,
Okay.
lemon juice, citric acid, and spices.
Now, here's what's interesting. Now, if you would have asked me objectively to like pick the sweeter one, I definitely would have said the gingerbread was sweeter.
Yeah, I know you said that, and I wasn't sold on that.
No?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
No, either, Tor? Huh. All right. Weird.
Yeah.
No HFCS in either one of these?
No,
I suppose not.
That's cool, at least. I like that.
Yeah.
I like seeing that.
that's something we did not expect at all when we first tried them.
Yeah,
Right.
I thought for sure I'd called the gingerbread out as having HFCS being like number one. You said it was like some kind of apple or something like that.
Yeah,
You were closer than I was, but interesting.
but not that close.
Surprising.
No, not that close.
It's
Weird.
more of a vegetable spread than a fruit spread.
I'm still trying to figure that out now because
Right.
I didn't know you could like puree them that smoothly, you know?
You never had a sweet potato pie?
I don't like sweet potatoes. I told you this. I told you this earlier. I don't
You're
like sweet
missing
potatoes.
out, man. You got to try a sweet potato pie.
Yucky.
Sweet potatoes are a problem, dude.
No, they're
They're really
They're
good.
yuck.
A little bit of butter, a little bit of cinnamon.
Yeah, throw 'em in the trash.
So good.
I will take
might
the Fig
even like.
Newtons. You can have my sweet potato pie.
I might even like sweet potato pie over regular pumpkin pie.
Oh, really?
These days.
a
if it's a good sweet potato pie, it is
nice
amazing.
hearty cutlet of chicken. All right, well, let's take a quick look at the website really quick here because I think they may have some more stuff on here.
Oh, they have a ton.
Oh my goodness, they've got so much.
Oh, they do food. So that, they do, oils and
mixes,
spices, rubs, salads,
hot beverages,
pickled vegetables.
Yeah. Spices, rubs, vinegars,
condiments,
drink mixes,
chutneys, and dips. Wow.
Way too much for us to even begin going into any of this stuff. So, wow, they've got stuff for your home. They've got kitchen implements. They've got seasonal shit. They've gifts. They've got fucking everything. Is this like a store in and of itself? This is a family of brands, so maybe that makes a little bit more sense.
Incredible.
Happy family.
The website is not particularly compelling. They've got a number of brands that I've never seen before. So,
specialty goods. So what's that, like kitchen gadgets and stuff?
Yeah, they've got kitchen gadgets.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. So this is way outside. This is like the scope of this is way too big. But
do you want to just navigate to their condiments real quick? Just to
Eric, there's so much. We're at like 55 minutes or something.
I know we're killing it for
55
time.
minutes. Like I'm trying to keep this as.
There's only how many at the top there? I said 57 of them.
They've got so many fucking condiments, and I'm like, this is like not even going to include these things because these aren't condiments.
57 results. So there's 57 different condiments that the company
but this isn't included. Like this is not including the things we have here tonight.
Malt vinegar aioli. Ooh, that sounds like money.
So like condiments are a separate thing from like their jams, jellies, and marmalades. So like they've got 54 results for that. There's no way we're even gonna. We can't even scratch the surface on this, so we're not even gonna try. If you listeners want,
I wonder if they have watermelon jelly.
I think they've got fucking everything. Is what it looks like. They're fucking selling you everything but the kitchen sink and the kitchen sink. So with all that being said, let's get on to the ratings portion of the show. And I think we're gonna start with the gingerbread butter. What'd you do that for?
That was a stretch-ish thing. Flexing, stretching, back muscles, biceps.
Biceps.
I know these aren't these weak upside down saggy.
Call them bingo wings.
I don't eat my spinach like I should. All right, boy, putting a rating number to this is like it's hard. I don't know. I like them both. I think
we're starting with the gingerbread butter. So let's just focus on that one first.
I think this gingerbread butter has versatility in my mind. Anyways, I think it can
put it on chicken.
Yeah, I think it would be good on chicken.
No.
Even, so I really do. I really think it has a place.
I think you're insane.
In a lot of applications, and it's really tasty. I'm just gonna go ahead and give it a solid 8.5 because I like it.
Okay. It
is very sweet. I think it's a little pricey. We didn't talk about the price, but these are $8 per jar.
Ouch.
So
wow.
Yeah, that'll definitely affect me. I think for the gingerbread, I'm going to be at like I'm going to have to come in closer to like a 6.5. That's partially factoring in that $8 range. I'm not surprised based on what this is. And it is good. It's interesting. It's also not the most well-balanced that I've ever had. And like I said, I'm struggling. It seems like more like an ingredient than it seems like something you put on stuff, I guess. Or you could put on in very, very small batches because of how spicy it is. That's why I'm kind of coming in like, I do like it. Now, you know what? I'll even give it a 7. I'll give it a 7. I feel like a 6.5 is being unfair. I'll give it a 7. So that is factoring in the quite expensive price. But what about you, Tori?
Yeah, definitely taking the price into consideration. Honestly, this wasn't my favorite out of the two. I didn't. It was okay. I don't think. I'm not going to say it's not good, but it doesn't really go over the top for me. I don't think that I would use it probably in a reasonable amount of time if it were in my pantry.
I would never use this.
I would never use it either.
It would go bad. It would go bad after years.
Yeah. I don't think I would really touch it unless it was, I don't know. So not awful, sort of neat for a novelty, expensive. So I'm going to give it a 6.
There's nothing I would use that on. Like, if I wanted to make something, I would go out and buy it for a recipe, but I would never just, like, use it on anything else.
Yeah.
Like French toast in the mornings or
a
croissant.
So.
No. I know you already said it wasn't good for the croissant. Huh?
It was too thin, too spicy. Weird. Let's move on to the fig and walnut, and we can go in reverse order for that. Tori, what'd you think of that one?
I really liked it. I thought it was really great. I like the fact that there's no presence of our friend high fructose corn syrup, like you mentioned earlier. It is steep. It is a little expensive, I think, for what you get. Nuts, I guess. Nuts aren't cheap, though. I mean,
that's fair.
So, I'm not trying to rationalize anything, but I guess it's the truth. I really liked it, and I was pleasantly surprised. And if I had those 2 jars in my pantry, I would certainly grab this one first. I think E's idea for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich is the shit. I think that would be a pretty damn good sandwich. And I'm sticking to my guns too on the French toast. I think that would be money on French toast. I like it. It would have got a higher score if it weren't $8, but it's going to be 8 and 8. 8 for $8. I'm giving it a snowman. I like it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm at too with this one. I like the idea of peanut butter and jelly potentially. It's a little bit expensive for something like that. I like the idea of it like a turnover or something like that. That sounds intriguing to me. I'm kind of struggling for use cases on this one again, and it's one of those things where, like I said, I wouldn't buy this just to have it because I'm certain it would go bad before I just happen to have something I wanted it on. I would use this as an ingredient. I would probably use this before I use the gingerbread one. I found it a little bit more versatile, and I think it's something that's like fancy enough that you could bring to like some sort of a component to something at a party. Like, I don't know exactly what that would look like, but I could definitely see it being, like an open jar for topping something at a party. I don't know. Perhaps a brie cheese.
A particular soft cheese that we all like.
We're not talking about brie cheese. We're talking too much about brie cheese, but I've shut it down. Brie cheese is now illegal to speak of. The listeners aren't aware of that, but I yelled at both of you. I screamed at both of you before the show about never speaking of brie cheese.
Our friends at Stonewall Farms thought the exact same thing.
Did they? Oh,
they suggested a cheese wheel twice on that little blurb.
Did they say cheesecake?
That would be
I banned myself from saying, for the listeners, I banned myself from speaking of cheesecakes on any sort of sweet topping, and I banned all of us from talking about brie cheese.
Yeah, they mentioned cheese twice in the middle, within 4 sentences.
Well, we will not be mentioning twice. It ever again. So, I think for me it's going to be an 8 as well.
I think you touched on something really interesting there, Adam. I'm not sure you realized what you were saying, though. When you were talking about the food truck and how they were charging $15 for a plate of spaghetti. Yeah. I think this is definitely something that a restaurant owner might consider, or a professional chef would consider.
My joke was that their spaghetti wasn't good enough to be spelled SPAGHETTI. They had to spell it. They had to spell it SPAGEDDY, spaghetti.
With Sammy's.
Yeah, with Sammy's. I said the spaghetti is not made from actual grain products, so they can't legally call it spaghetti. They have to call it spaghetti. And the Sammy's contain more than 40 parts per million pieces of cat. So
wow.
Okay. Finish your thought, Eric.
But if you were a baker and wanted to make some, fig and walnut turnovers and sell them at your bakery for, $9, $12 per turnover because it's got this, ingredient, this elevated sauce already inside of this jelly. You could also put in again, cookies or serve it on, brie as an appetizer at a restaurant.
$9 per turnover?
Yeah. Some bakeries absolutely will charge you that much. I think those almond croissants.
I'm not allowed. My mom won't allow me to shop at those places. Says those are outside of my budget. That's outside my allowance. So
actually, I'm pretty sure those big almond ones were like $11 a piece.
Wow,
at that French bakery, and those are to die for.
I
brought them to game night.
They weren't good, but that's insane.
So I think there's a certain application.
Je ne sais quoi.
Yeah, certain application that this could be used for in certain pricey, elevated situations. I liked it. I'm not a huge fan of jellies, so I liked it more.
I don't think it's a jelly. I think this is a jam.
Okay, I like it. I don't like jellies or jams, but I like this more than
but you know what the difference is, right?
Yes, I do.
He's well aware.
Well aware. So I'm going to go ahead and just give it a 7.5. It's a point less for me than the gingerbread. I really like that gingerbread butter. I thought it was delicious.
Only you can put this shit on chicken.
No, but instead I can put it on a nice cooked pork chop. Maybe a grilled one.
Tenderloin.
I think you are compelled at this point
to do the chicken.
I don't want it to be in the same room as me when this is going on. Like, you need to have this be gone before
Zoom call. Hook us up with a Zoom call
before I come over. But I feel like I need you to try this on some chicken.
So there's another sauce that we may or may not do in the future called a simmer sauce, which is like an Indian kind of different for chicken dishes. Then you simmer their sauce in there. Anyways, it's very flavorful and spicy, but not like hot spicy, just like flavorful spicy like this.
Okay. So like gingerbread?
No, not like gingerbread, but
I don't think that tasted that much like gingerbread. I gotta be honest.
I gotta agree.
I really don't think it tasted like gingerbread.
Like chai tea bread.
Yeah, it was more like chai tea bread than gingerbread.
I'd agree with that. I mean, it's a lot
has
sweeter,
ginger in it, but the primary flavors I was getting were not ginger. I was getting more of like that allspice nutmeg type thing.
Allspice nutmeg.
More,
a hint of ginger on the aftertaste.
Yeah, like I feel like ginger bread or like ginger snaps has like exclusively ginger flavoring. I feel like they would have been farther ahead if they had not used the nutmeg and the allspice and stuff. I feel like it's overpowering the ginger, despite the 3 different kinds of ginger.
3 different kinds.
Which, as we found out, is just fucking ginger. So I don't know why they even bothered to ham that up.
Yeah.
Here's ginger and ginger with sunglasses and ginger with a mohawk.
And then then it's ginger and ginger with sunglasses and then absent because there was no third one listed.
That's right, yeah.
So
the third one was out to lunch.
The third one was captured in the spices. It's just powdered ginger. So yeah, bizarre. But well, I think that's going to do it for us this week on the Stonewall Kitchens, the gingerbread butter and the fig and walnut sauces, butters, jams, whatever we're calling them.
Whatever we're
An interesting treat nonetheless. But with all that being said, Eric,
closing thoughts.
Do you have any closing thoughts that you'd like to share with the listeners?
How about creativity and the ability to come up with new and creative ideas. I think that's important. I think these sauces are very innovative, and I think that the applications there that many different applications that we've thought about during this episode as creative, thought provocative. We've just we've been brainstorming it up, and that's healthy and that's good, and people should do more of that deep thought. I don't know if it's really deep, but creative. Creative
might
thoughts.
be one of the best actual closing thoughts that Eric's ever had.
Wow.
I'm not learning. This is a one-off, a rarity. Tori,
I'm sure.
Touching thoughts.
And now it's time for touching thoughts with Tori.
I appreciate it, E, but I must be introduced the right way.
Now it's time for Tori's turn.
That's right. Okay. Well, I'm not going to tie anything back to any old touching thought, so I'm just going to come at you proper, I suppose. I think we should be mindful of what we're stressing about, and I don't want you to think that I'm downplaying what you're stressing about, because I know what you're stressing about is valid, my man, and I know it may be keeping you up at night or keeping you from eating or whatever, but just be mindful of it, because I think you're going to survive. That I think that's the headline here. That's the silver lining. That you're going to survive. You're going to make it out of it. Maybe if you're lucky enough, you may find yourself a year or 2 or 3 down the line and thinking that you were almost sort of silly to be worried about this thing in the first place. So I hope you find yourself in that latter party, and being mindful of what is stressing you out is important. Just like he said, he thinks it's important, and so do I. But that'll do it for me. I cannot wait for next week. We can't wait. We love you. We're proud of you. And good night.
Cool. Well, I think that's going to do it for us this week. As always, thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll catch you next week.
Oh no, it's the end of the show. Thank goodness there's several other episodes waiting just for you. Check out our Instagram. We like to have some fun over there. We post the sauce bottle pics if you're curious, and the occasional meme. That's going to be Sauce Spoken Official. Despite our humble nature, we are accepting donations, believe it or not. Look us up on PayPal. That's going to be @SauceSpoken. Hey, and if you like what you hear, grease those palms, babe. Lastly, roll up your sleeves and get into the nitty-gritty at saucespoken.wordpress.com. We have show notes and details. Check it out. Share us with a family member or a friend. If you're enjoying it, I'm certain they will too. Good night.